Okay, so I am really excited about what we're about to do.
Yeah, these are going to be really fun.
One of the things that I noticed when I was watching you and many other professionals develop applications is there's something going on in your minds that isn't quite obvious to someone looking on. Mm-hmm. And I think these code-alongs really give our students and anyone else watching these videos the opportunity to really get inside your head.
Yeah, so for those of you listening and watching at home, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to literally code along with me. I'm going to slowly solve the problem while we talk about what's going on. So if you want to try a challenge, go ahead and just try to do whatever it is that is being created on your own. I think it'll be a lot more fun. You'll get a lot more out of it if you do as the other Adam here is suggesting, which is to code along with us and actually see how your process is different from mine. And so we're going to put these along and consider them kind of like not really like homework, but more like this is where you should actually be coding and not just watching passively.
Yeah, and if it's going too fast for you, of course you can pause and stop the video and catch up. But you might also want to try just sitting and listening and watching and observing kind of our conversation, letting it roll over you and kind of thinking about it, and then code along on your own without us. But come back and watch the video if you ever need some help.
See how it's different.
Yeah, exactly.
So good luck, and here's our first code along.
Okay, so now we're going to see your control flow statements, right?
Yeah. I'm going to solve a problem that was given there. To find out if the sentence to test is in face a pangram.
And a pangram, again, is a...
it's a sentence that has every letter of the alphabet in it.
Okay, got it. So the quick red fox, et cetera, that's one of the classic pangrams?
No, actually, the quick red fox, et cetera, does not actually have all the letters of the alphabet in it. But the quick red fox jumps over the lazy brown dog does.
Got it. Okay, excellent. Thanks for the correction.
Sure.
Yeah. So control flow statements are really, really important, obviously. But can you tell me a little bit more about why they should be so familiar with them?
Right. Well, you don't really want to be thinking about how to make a left turn or a right turn when you're coding. You really want that to be second nature, so you can focus on the problem at hand. Like, for instance, in that for loop, I've written a for loop a million times, so I'm not really thinking about that structure except for I'm going to loop through the length of that alphabet array. So you don't want to be hung up on like, I equals 0, right, and then I put what next. You really want that part to be easy, and so you can focus on like, why am I looping through it?
Right. So really, it's practice these often, so you can get them just kind of ingrained.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, I mean, they're a lot of fun because these end up being a bunch of different little problems to solve, and so you can get kind of a fun like learning hit every time you take a step forward to the solution. Got it.
So why are you nesting the if statement here within the for loop?
Well, I'm not wanting to actually deal with the fact of what has letter is. I don't know really what that means yet. I'm just knowing. I just know at this point that I'm going to have to say, get something out of that alphabet array, and then if you have it, then do something. And I'm just kind of going through the if I have it as being like, okay, I'll figure that out later.
And this seems pretty common. I've seen you and other developers do this a lot, where you nest an if statement in a for loop. Is that true? Is that accurate?
Yeah, I mean, it's really a very common way to like search for a condition. So go through everything in here, and if you find what you want, then deal with it in some way.
So what is this write success method?
That's a method that's just pre-written that will take the number missing and then the actual character array of letters and the sentence and just print it to the log, because I don't really want people to be focusing on that right now. Just want to focus on the actual logic of whatever they're doing.
So it's a helper method that you wrote for them.
Yeah. There's another one up above that does the same thing by turning a string into a character array, so they don't have to deal with that. Because otherwise it's pretty annoying to have to use single quotes to describe a whole sentence.
Mm-hmm.
So here we have the actual has letter method. I'm trying to figure out, okay, given a sentence and given a letter, does that letter actually exist in that array of characters?
Now, when you're writing that method, are you choosing the parameters, or is that something that's already kind of like automatic for you?
Definitely a little bit of both, I guess. I mean, I definitely know what my inputs are, right? I'm like, okay, I have a letter, and then I have a thing I want to look through. And, that really determines the parameters of like, what do I got? Once you know what you got, then you have to think about your return statement. Like, okay, from what I got, what am I going to figure out? In this case, just a true or false. So that's why it's a Boolean. I still can't believe that I misspelled fact and put face there.
On line 41.
Yeah. So yeah, here we're starting, and we have on line 55 the condition. So has the letter been found yet? And I'm going to say no. And now we're going to change that condition depending on what we actually do.
And that's while not found, right?
While not found, yeah.
With the exclamation point or bang operator.
Yeah.
I always liked that one. It was just like, wait, that's found. No, it's not. Okay, not found.
It's not found. Yeah. has a bit of a edge to it.
Yeah.
Not found. Yeah, and so here you wouldn't normally use a while loop for this kind of condition, but I kind of wanted to show off, usually when you're searching for something, you really don't know how long you're going. Mm-hmm. You really want to use while loops for indeterminate things, but for here, I thought it would be easier to read just to kind of play around with it.
Right. One thing that I always notice is the else is not indented like the rest of the statements are. And I just wondered if there's any reason for that, or, does it make it more readable?
And what do you mean by indent?
Well, if the if statement now is indented within the while statement, and then there's the else, and it's not. So
else if and else, they're still part of the same control flow structure. Mm-hmm. So that's why you don't indent them. They're part of the same structure. So like the block of code on line 57, that begins there, and so the if is a part of that block. But the else statement, I mean, you
mean line 58.
Line 50. Well, it keeps changing. But yes, yeah.
57 is the while statement and ends at 68, right?
Right, exactly.
But the if else statement, 58 to 67.
Yeah, so they all line up because they really are. I mean, you may not ever actually run anything between 58 and 61, or 58 and all the way down to the else statement. So it's just, you want to keep your indentation showing where the actual blocks are flowing.
Mm-hmm. And then I always love that the debugger button is an actual bug.
Yeah, it's a good bug. I like the icon, and it looks good against the black. Now, all these different errors that are coming up, it's kind of sometimes hard to see there, but you already see an error here. It says that all the letters are missing. And I love this. This kind of like screwed me up. I was like, wait, what did I just write? Oh, right. So if has letter equals false.
So take me through. What was the process that you used to find that?
Well, I saw that all of them were missing, and so I was like, okay, line 29 is the thing that actually adds the particular letters to the array to show them off. And when I read it, I was just like, oh, well, I want to know if has letter doesn't have a letter. Mm-hmm. So I put equals false. We could have also used a bang operator, but that one kind of worked better to show it off and make it more readable. And here we are testing to make sure if we remove some letters, do we actually see that some are missing from the pangram? And sure enough,
4 missing.
4 missing.
Mm-hmm. And what are the things to end there? The gems?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what were those gems? Why were those little symbols in there?
Right. So it's an array of primitives. So they all start out with a default value. They don't start at a null. They start with an actual value. And the value that you're seeing on the screen is actually the default character value. It's Unicode, 0000. It's the very first character, and it just happens to print that way. So we actually have like an array of different characters of non-printable kind of characters, and then we kind of insert them in there.
So they won't necessarily see those whenever they're debugging anything. It's just the case of this particular example. Yeah,
well, unless they're using a car array of with nothing in it, they might see it. But if I were to take that one step further, I would have gone through and I would have maybe put spaces or shortened the car array to just show me the letters. But we, just created a 26 slot array and inserted them in there for simplicity's sake.
So wherever there were missing or not missing letters, then you'd get the
You just get a
nice little gems.
Unicode, first character, default character.
I like the gems.
Yeah.
Make me feel like I won something.
Yeah, you did. You won a Pangram.